Hello, welcome to Take Stock Manatee. I'm Elaine Graham, volunteer, mentor, and community council chairperson. I'm hosting today's show with Diana Dill, the executive director of Take Stock in Children of Manatee County.
Hello, Take Stock in Children is a powerful and proven college scholarship and mentoring program for deserving children to reach their greatest potential. Students are accepted as early as the 6th grade through an application process. And once the student is selected, the student, along with their parent or guardian, sign a performance contract committing to good grades and behavior, remaining drug-free and crime-free, and most importantly, to meet with a mentor for 30 minutes a week, every week during the school year and on the school campus. Upon graduation, as long as the student has maintained their agreement, they receive a college scholarship. The Take Stock in Children program has a 96% success rate of keeping students in school, receiving their diploma, attending college, and entering the workforce. I'm so excited to introduce our special guest today. We have 3 wonderful mentors joining us. We have Marc Krupp, thank you so much, who's also a board member for Take Stock in Children. We have Rob Hendrickson, who is a mentor and our Take Stock in Children Tennis Festival chair. And we have Jim Kunert, who is a mentor as well as a member of our tennis committee. Thank you, gentlemen, so much for joining us today. I appreciate your time.
Our pleasure.
Let's go ahead and start with, how did you learn about Take Stock in Children, and how long have you been a mentor for Take Stock?
Well, I retired in July of 14 and actually moved from Dallas, Texas to Lakewood Ranch here shortly after my retirement. And I knew that I wanted to get involved with the community in some way. I wasn't sure exactly what I wanted to do. And I got involved in a couple of different things, and by coincidence, a good friend of mine that I play golf with told me about Take Stock in Children. He was a mentor. I heard about it probably 2 or 3 times from him, and was at the fitness center one day. Rode my bike there. Coming out of the fitness center, I stopped at the tennis courts, and I saw that Take Stock was having, actually, turns out, our first annual event that day. So I pulled in and found my way to you, Diana, and heard a little bit more about Take Stock in Children. And then I attended a dinner in May of last year, May of 15, I should say. And it was the graduation ceremony for about 20 Take Stock in Student scholars, seniors who are graduating and going on to college. After hearing those students and mentors speak about their experience, and most importantly, most overwhelmingly, I should say, learning that 7 of the 20 were their first in their family's history to ever graduate from high school, I was totally committed right then and there. So I became a mentor when Nicholas Caballero became available to me. I believe it was in September or October, and have had a great experience since.
Well, thank you so much. I'm so glad you stopped by the tennis festival.
I am too.
Yes, yes. And Rob, how did you hear about Take Stock in Children?
Well, I had moved to the area in 2011, and at that point in my life, I wanted to figure out a way to just get engaged in the community and really help kids. I was the first to go to college in my family, and I've been blessed by that in so many ways. I ran into Michael Corley at a networking event. He's our board chairman, and he introduced me to you. And at the time, I was engaged in an experience that changed my life. I had a chance to help with the interviewing process, where I met a young boy, at the time a small boy, not any longer, Giancarlo Barrios. And Giancarlo became my mentee. We started meeting. He was in middle school. He's now at Braden River High. And I consider him my own, as if he's my own blood. I love him. He means the world to me, and my life is better for him.
Well, thank you so much for mentoring him. What a difference you've made in his life.
Thanks, Diana.
Truly, you have. And Jim, how did you hear about Take Stock in Children?
Well, I think Rob Hendrickson is the common denominator in this story. Rob's a friend, a tennis friend, and he approached me last year around this time, maybe a little bit beforehand. I was looking for some fundraising dollars for the tennis festival. I was happy to help out. He offered to set up a meeting with you, Diana, and we met in a restaurant for lunch. You shared some material with me. That meeting was really a surprise for me, and it made it easy for me to write a check. The idea of mentoring kind of snuck up on me after the tennis festival. That was just a lot of fun. Then sort of an unfolding awareness of this program made me become interested in something that I really was not more interested in at the time, other than being a supporter. So during the summer, I was approached, I think you approached me to consider mentoring. I jumped in with both feet, and it's been wonderful. Ariel Crispin is a 6th grader. I'm a rookie. It's been 7 months. He's a wonderful young man, and I can see some things of my own kids in him as he's going through those years and trying to make his way. So I'm well situated now. I'm really happy to have sort of bumped into this program and become a part of it. Yep.
Well, we're so happy that you bumped into the program as well, making such a difference for the young men in our school district.
Seems like you all bumped into Diana at some point along the road and so forth. One of the questions we sometimes get is, what's it like to mentor? Because some people are not quite sure of that. They often confuse maybe tutoring, but maybe share a mentoring experience, something that you experienced with your student. Marc, maybe you want to begin?
I didn't really know what I was going to be getting into with Nicholas. There is an orientation, a training program that we all went through before we actually became mentors, but you're given a guidebook that you can use or choose not to if you want to move into this on your own. And I was initially extremely impressed with Nicholas. Academically, he's doing very, very well. He is a TSA student, which is Technology Student Association. And in our first meeting, we were just getting to know one another. He had told me that he had made it to the Nationals as a 6th grader for TSA, and that he was focused on winning the Nationals this year. So he will be leaving for Nashville in June. He has qualified through the state and the region. Will be in Nashville in June, and hopefully he wins the whole thing for the 7th grade. But I will tell you the experience that I really probably reflect most on is the ability to just challenge Nicholas to set the bar as high as he felt appropriate in terms of what he wanted to accomplish as a young man. He was so happy and proud to be awarded the contract and the potential to be a Take Stock in Children scholar and to get a tuition scholarship to any state school, that he was just beaming about that. But even after our first session, talking with him and talking about goals, long-term and short-term, and how are you going to work toward them, he kind of evolved to, he wants to go to the absolute top engineering school in the country, get a full scholarship, tuition, room, board, A to Z, and give his Take Stock in Children scholarship back to us to use with another child. So I just thought that was amazing, and that one experience will always resonate with me.
Very admirable.
Absolutely.
Different kind of goal for a student. Jim, you're the newbie of the group and so forth. So, what's been your experience as a mentor?
Well, in my business career, I've mentored people in their careers. I have had mentors in my career. I think most of us have had mentors, both informally, possibly formally as well. And in those situations, the mentee seems to have the burden of the work to do, mentor helping to guide along. In my case, entering this situation, I agree with Marc, the guidance was pretty much open-ended. And so I sort of took the path of using an ample amount of time to simply establish a reliable, dependable, trustful relationship with my student. We don't have a purposeful agenda of establishing goals or meeting goals or doing exercises. We get together every Tuesday morning and we talk about what's interesting to him, As a sixth grader, it's been something of a challenge early to get them to open up. And what I've done is to use maybe some unconventional approaches. I looked up on the internet jokes for 11-year-olds. That went over like a lead balloon. Maybe something a little more interesting was I researched and came up with a number of brain teasers. And so we worked on brain teasers over a period of weeks. He also was a little mixed bag on that, but interesting note about that was I started to detect engagement from Ariel when, being pressured to figure out these brain teasers. One Tuesday morning, he comes to me with a brain teaser, put me in the hot box. And since then, if there's an interesting article that I've read, I'll bring that in. Recently, we spent 2 or 3 mornings just talking about an article about the degree to which certain types of animals can actually think and express emotion. And there's some scientific studies about that. And I was exploring his attitudes toward those things. He was really quite engaged in that. I've taught him to play backgammon, and he's quite good at that. And so I'm able to see some of his aptitudes, some of his interests, and that sort of thing. And at this stage of the game, I think reached maybe a point in time where the agenda moves a little more purposefully into some of his educational goals. But up until now, it's just been relationship building.
Yeah, that establishing that relationship is important, especially with a sixth grader and beginning the journey. And Rob?
I love hearing these stories because everyone's different. John Carlo, when I first met him, he didn't even think I'd be his mentor because I didn't ask as many questions as someone else in the interview process, but he got me. And we started with index cards with sayings, and the first one was always do the right thing. We got through about 10 of those, and we would talk about what it means and when to apply it and how to apply it. Then I don't know what happened. I either ran out of ideas or we just started to bond. And I remember when I left our last session, it was after he was done middle school. I said, I'm going to miss you, and he said, I'm going to miss you too. And he wasn't a very emotive boy. Well, now he's a junior. He's an all-American kid. He loves baseball. He loves the Yankees. He gets good grades, although there have been times, the thing is with what we do, it's about trust and it's about constancy. And we, as mentors, might have 7, 8, even 20 sessions where it's business as usual. But when you get to the 21st session is when something might have happened or our mentee, our boys will open up to us. And it's those moments where you realize that they've come to rely on us as an anchor, as a foundational element in their lives. And with us, there might have been 5 to 6 of those moments over 3 years. But it's built a sort of bond between us that will live long past his high school years. So we've done many things, we've talked through things, and fortunately most of them are lighthearted. We've had a few grade discussions, he's had a couple challenges, but we talk about what that means. And I explain to him that sometimes I'm his friend, sometimes I'm going to act like a parent, and sometimes I'm going to nudge him in the right direction, and he better listen because it's for his own good. So.
I'll add on to that. When I first started in this program, I was uncertain as to the responsibilities. Are we to help with schoolwork? Are we to tutor this person? And I've taken the position. I think you'll agree that it's not about helping them with their work. It's about the outside of that helps them deal on their own with their work. Mm-hmm. And so I think being available, being dependable that's my number one objective, is to be there every Tuesday on time and not miss. And then whatever he wants to talk about, fine. And if he doesn't have anything, I'll have things to talk about. If he doesn't want to engage that day, that's fine too. I'll be there next Tuesday. And that's the way it goes. I think I completely agree with you, Rob, that building up a track record of normal, casual conversations prepares everyone for the hard conversation that eventually is going to come. And we've all been in business. We know that there are hard conversations There are challenge moments, moments of truth, that sort of thing. And so I think that's what I'm probably building for, and you're telling me that that's ahead.
It's coming.
Right.
It's a good thing. Yeah, it's a good thing.
You know, I would say that just about every time that I'm together with Nick, we touch upon, at least for a short period of time, current events, spend some time talking about current events, whatever it may be, the political situation or what's happening out in the world. How he's doing school-wise, what are the challenges, what tests are coming up, you know, what's on his calendar. Talk about his family, and that's usually first and foremost. I always try and make it a point to ask him about himself and his family. And from there, it can go anywhere, but the time flies by. I'm probably with him on average 40 minutes, and routinely we've got more to talk about. We're in the middle of something when all of a sudden his bell rings.
Yeah.
The journeys are all different.
They are all different. And last month we had guests, our 3 guests were mentees, 3 mentees in the Take Stock in Children program that are seniors and graduating. And I can share with you that all 3 of them spoke so highly of their mentors in the impact, truly the impact that these mentors have had on their lives. And they were the biggest cheerleader for the children. And they said, if it wasn't for my mentor, I would not have gotten through those tough times. I would have not have stayed focused on getting to college. There's just so many distractions for these children, and they need you. And what you're doing for us and for the children in our community really is so profound for their whole life that I just thank you so much for doing that. That is why we have a 96% success rate, because of volunteers like you. It's truly amazing. And with that, I'd like to move into the amazing volunteers that we have, and how did the tennis festival become an event for us? Rob, would you like to share that?
I'll take that one. I'll take that one with our second event 2 weeks away on April 30th on Saturday. We help with our time and our boys, and certainly as part of the festival, I've gotten very good at asking for financial support. But what I wanted to do, and I have to give some credit to my wife Pam, who also mentors, is we wanted to merge our love with the game of tennis with our love for Take Stock in Children and the mentoring program we're a part of. And we didn't know where it would go. Some other people didn't know where it would go either, but they gave us enough rope and said, good luck. But the whole idea was, you know, tennis is a game of life, as is the work we do. It teaches discipline, it's fun, it's healthy. And in my mind, I thought if we can create an event that raises a few dollars, but more importantly, raises awareness of our program and changes some people's hearts towards what we do and gets them involved, like these great guys next to me, that we might be onto something. So there's no better moment than the present to do it. We hatched a plan that, you know, we've sort of adopted a new motto this year, even though it was there from the beginning, called Include Everyone. And what we mean by that is people of all ages, boys and girls, men and women, tennis clubs all over the region. Tennis is a fairly competitive place down here in Florida. We all go out for broke and compete. But this isn't about that. This is about the love of the game and to help our kids. So we sort of started with a premise, and last year had our first event. It was fantastic. We had about 300 people. We had Jimmy Arias and Michael Pernfors, former top 10 players in the world. IMG talent, which is off the charts. We had pros from various clubs, and people were smiling all day. They came out to the event, and whether they played, watched, or just enjoyed the atmosphere, I think it really ended up being even better than I had envisioned. So we were excited to start it, and it's not going away anytime soon.
So what's different this year? What have you added or changed?
Sure. Well, a few things. We have Prince, one of the oldest names in tennis, is going to show up with all its newest gear, its new rackets. Let everyone try those. We have more show court action. Last year, we waited before we hit sort of the main event segment. This year, when you walk on the courts at 11, you're going to see people on the show court. We have a triples exhibition, which is a new type of tennis that's taking hold in the cardio tennis world. We have, we might be lucky, I'll know tomorrow, to have an IMG boys doubles match. We have a new court called Serve It Up. It's the first serve in tennis, and if that goes well, the rest usually follows. And I would say what we've done, we've extended our participation, as I mentioned earlier. We have Bath and Racquet, one of the largest clubs in the area. Their new tennis director is going to be on a court teaching. And we have some new faces joining us this year. Jack Stein from Bradenton Country Club, an amazing guy and a nice guy. So what we've done is we've taken the formula, we've tweaked it to improve it. And I think the other thing is we've really tried to just make sure people are aware. If people come out on Saturday, April 30th, they will leave being fans for life. So that's the key.
Is first serve similar in concept to the first tee in golf?
Well, it is, right? In tennis, you step up to the line and you control everything, right? It's like a student deciding to study or not. It's in their control. It's in their, in their hands. So you step to the line, and if you do that fairly well, you get a few free points.
Okay.
So.
Okay.
Now, one thing I'll add to what your remarks, Rob, is that success breeds success. The first festival that you held, I think, it caught everybody by surprise. It was so much fun.
Yes.
Everybody had a great time. I was there all day long, and it was wonderful. And the people that weren't there regretted not being there after hearing others who were there tell them about it. And so this year, I think you've got more participation in the planning process from more people.
Yeah.
Which hopefully will be a sign of the future as well.
Yeah, thanks, Jim.
Well, we're so thrilled that you've decided to host the event and create the event. Obviously, we were able to gain mentors from the event as well, so it's wonderful to have new people in our community get to know Take Stock in Children. And we have activities as early as 11 o'clock?
That's right.
For children?
Absolutely. So gates open at 11 o'clock at Lakewood Ranch Tennis Center. You'll see the signs on the roads. We'll get them out that morning. And really, imagine it this way: you walk into the grounds, and it's all I can think of is I remember as a kid going to an amusement park. You knew where the roller coaster was. You knew where all the great rides were. Well, imagine instead now you can go to the courts that way. So if you have youngsters, parents, kids 10 and under, who are free, by the way, just come out to the 10 and under court and learn together, learn the game together, or an adult going to the Learn Tennis court. We have a lot of tennis fanatics who just want to get better, and they see pros everywhere willing to help. So you might go to the Play with a Pro doubles court. And what's so fantastic is even though Jimmy Arias and Michael Pernfors play, in this case with Steve Price and Jack Stein, from 3 to 4, that's our marquee matchup. They wander the grounds, and you might find yourself hitting a forehand, and Jimmy Arias, top 5 player in the world, commentator for the Tennis Channel, might step up to you and actually help you do it better. I mean, you can't get that anywhere, so it's very exciting.
And how do you go about getting tickets and maybe seeing a little bit more in detail about the program and the layout of the event?
Sure. So we can get tickets, Elaine, any number of ways. If you go to tennisfestival.org, you'll see the full range of activities. Our great sponsors who deserve mention to help us get this off the ground. And essentially, that will link you to all our activities for the day, our talent who will be on the show court, links to get tickets. We still have some clinics left with Jimmy and Michael. Again, some personal private clinic time with them. So you can get tickets online or at the event. And we've priced tickets at $10 a piece. Again, kids 10 and under get in free. To make this a family outing. We want the whole family to show and to just enjoy the day together. And we have VIP special treatment tickets as well, where you get a chance to get photos with Jimmy and Michael and to enjoy all the food and beverages in our lounge, our VIP lounge.
It is such an exciting day and so much fun. Even if you don't play tennis yet, you can come out and enjoy the event and have fun and maybe start to play tennis. It's just a great day, and so hopefully people will join us on Saturday, April 30th, right around the corner here, from 11 to 4, and hopefully they'll have their tickets, or you can pay at the gate.
Absolutely.
So, just come and show up and join us that day. Well, it's hard to believe that our time is almost up, and you gentlemen have just been a great resource and experience here sharing with our community. Would you like to add anything that maybe you'd like to share with our community about Take Stock in Children, the tennis event, anything at all, Marc?
The only thing I would like to add is that it is such a worthwhile endeavor that all of us are involved with. And I believe that we provided a contract to 28 students most recently. 6th, 7th, 8th graders who move through the program with the desire, the hope, the goal to get that college degree at the end. We have so many more within our community that are deserving and who would be wonderful Take Stock in children's scholars, that we truly have a focus to increase the number of students that we can award that contract with to as many as 100 per year within a 5-year period of time. So it's a stretch goal, but it's a very, very worthwhile stretch goal that I'm proud to be a part of.
Absolutely. And we thank you so much for being a part of this program.
Definitely.
Rob?
I was wondering what I would say, because we obviously believe in this cause. And I think what I would say is there are many people in this area who have retired from their jobs. And what I will say to them is you have the best job possible in front of you if you can get involved with us. To get to know these kids, to become a mentor, to be part of our family. I mean, this organization is so astounding in so many ways. The way we work, the way we team on things, and all the good we do. And our focus on the kids it really makes for a life-changing experience. So I would say to everyone who left your old day jobs, come get the newest job and the best job you could and join our family.
Absolutely. Join us. Thank you, Rob.
Sure.
Yeah, I'll just add that through your leadership, it's been phenomenal. Your staff is phenomenal. They're so helpful. You make it easy for us to do what you've asked us to do. So I think that's been the signature experience that I've had, is that there's quality people, it's a quality organization. Went to the prayer breakfast, which is a phenomenal event on its own. And I'm just happy to be associated with a group of people who are doing something, it was such a good purpose to it, and it's not that hard. So thank you, Diana, for introducing me to this program.
Well, thank you, Jim. You are making a difference, and it is amazing what we can do when we all come together for Take Stock in Children. And with that note, Elaine, is there anything else you'd like to add?
I think the gentlemen have covered the subject quite well, and we do thank you for all you do. We can't do it without mentors.
They're our reason for success. And so I'd like to thank you for taking the time to join us today. We are grateful to METV for providing this opportunity for us to share the good news of students, mentors, and hope here in Manatee County. And please accept my invitation to join the Take Stock in Children family and help us serve additional students in Manatee. Visit our website at www.takestockmanatee.org, and let's make a difference together. Thank you.